My name is Nea and welcome to Crafts and Dresses. And today we'll be doing some Thanksgiving inspired feast and food items. And for that I have this Sylvanian family's dining table that's gonna work for our scale, as well as kind of measurement how much we can do within a couple of days that I'm filming this. So I have some pots and pans and little dishes that I want to use for this. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Let's see how much we can make. So first of all, I want to say this is not in any way going to be like a tutorial because I have no idea what I'm doing. So this is more like craft with me kind of thing, where I practice using polymer clay and some stuff that I already have. And yeah, so yes, first I found this little piece that I thought could look like a little cutting board or some sort of board for some sort of treats, but yeah, we need to shape it into shape. So obviously I cut it down with my miter shears and then started filing it down to make the edges more round. I'm using some tools to the inner corners and then just some sanding paper on the outer edges to make it look more like a little charcuterie board thingy. Well, not really, because it's just the board part. But yeah, I want to do something like that and then add some carrots onto it later. I like the shape so far, but I feel like it needs a hole. And I actually do have these hand drilled things, couple of these, but I couldn't find any of the blades or drill parts, whatever you call them. So we're just gonna have to deal with this file tool. And it's actually working pretty well. I'm just pressing it against the table, really carefully. I don't want the wood to snap or myself to drill to the table. As you can see, I actually did crack a little, but it doesn't matter. It didn't break down, so it's good enough. I was able to finish the little hole, and once I was happy with that, I just painted it with some brown acrylic paint. After that, as you can see from my hands, I'm not trying to be tidy. I'm just trying to have some fun here. So after that, I just went ahead straight away and dry brushed some white on it just to make some more grainy old look to the wooden piece. Once I liked how that looked, I decided to add a little more sanding just to take off some of the paint from the edges, because I kind of like when it looks really old and worn out already. So now it's the turn for the carrots, and obviously we're gonna need some orange. I'm just kind of peeking what kind of colors we have. I feel like I want to have two different kind of shapes of carrots, and just to bring more variety and interest to it. So I'm just peeking through what I have. That plastic plant would be fun, but too big. And I picked and mixed up these colors. So there's a darker orange and then more yellowy orange tone. So yeah, now I just need to soften the clay and then start rolling my little carrots. And how I did this was really simple. I just rolled like a teeny tiny long tube and then started cutting by eyeballing how long I want my carrots to be. So I just got little stick pieces first, cut them down, and then I just shaped them more rounded on the other side and then more pointy on the other edge, just to make them look like carrots, And this was fairly easy, nothing too extreme, but I felt like it was missing texture, so I took this ruler, I think it is, and I kind of just wanted to somehow make that rigid texture that carrots usually have, just so they don't just look like clay that easily, So yeah, that's what I did to all of the carrots, and the same thing with the yellowish toned ones. Then I wanted them to have a little teeny tiny cut stem on the end of them. So for that I again rolled a really thin piece of green, and I was like measuring it against the carrots to see it's not too bulky. So I baked them all together. I didn't cut the green part before baking because it's a lot easier to cut it now. As you can see, I just went ahead after baking and cut them down with scissors to get these little sticks. Now I know that there could have been like better ways to do it, but this is the first time I'm trying this out, so yeah, I just decided to try it. Here I have some glue, and then with the help of my little pliers, I'm adding the greenery parts to the end of the carrots. And yeah, this is something I wouldn't do again like this. I would probably use like a wire or something else to stick in the carrots. Or maybe I would like bake first like really long green strips or like strings, and then like mold the carrot around them because they were really hard to glue. But yeah, this is how they are looking so far. Now I'm just assembling them to my cutting board, trying to make them look nice. And I did on purpose like few extra ones just because I plan on making a garden at some point, and I really like thought that it would be nice to have some extra carrots because I'm sure they will be handy once I at some point for real get to that garden thing. I feel like I have so many ideas that like sometimes I wish I could just clone myself and I could just have a little crafting night with 5 different nails and we could just all work on my projects. But yeah, once I was happy how they looked, I waited a little bit for the glue to dry, and then I decided that they need some shine. So I added some UV resin and spread it out evenly, carefully. Like, as you can see, I'm not wearing gloves. You should always wear gloves, but like I thought I would have a better grip without gloves, so that's why I'm being really careful, and I kind of like sacrificed one of my brushes for this. Once I got the UV resin there, I thought it would be nice to like add some foliage to look like little herbs or some spices or something, so I sprinkled some on top before curing that all together. And this is how it looks. I think it's really good. Well, pretty good. Maybe not really good. Next, I thought we could make some green peas to this like little plastic glass looking dish. And some boiled potatoes, because potatoes are a really Finnish thing. And on the last one, that's actually button, but I want to make some cranberry sauce. So we're gonna do all of this together because the technique I'm gonna use for all of this is really similar. So there's no point doing all of this and like different clips. So I'm trying to cut some corners and show you how I managed to do this. So first I again rolled a thin little string, as you can see, and then started cutting my little piece. This was actually really hard, but like it took me a while to get the right touch to the clay, but once I like kind of figured it out, it was super easy and I managed to make them fast. But because they're so tiny, it was first really time consuming, and they look really funny. Like they look like Shrek poop or something. It's just odd. And I shoved it in the little bowl already. They are not being baked yet though, but I wanted to see like how they look, and that maybe I could like bake them without the dish when they're squeezed together. So now I'm just carefully trying to get them out, and it worked out pretty well. Like they mostly stay intact. Before we bake that, we're gonna make some cranberries. It's just the same tactic here. I'm gonna roll a thin like strip and then cut even-sized balls that are gonna be my little cranberries later on. And again, I'm making this time like as many like as I have patience to, because I know I can use these for decoration and many other things, so I'm just trying to make more than I need. These are my cranberries, and then we can jump on to the potatoes. I was thinking like to use this excess one. It's not really potato color, well maybe like the outer layer of potato, but yeah, I wish I would have used more yellow tone now, but we'll see. Again, rolling and cutting the pieces that I think are the right size, but this time obviously they're just a little bit bigger since potatoes are bigger than peas and cranberries. They kind of look like boiled eggs or something, but maybe we'll get there. So now I have my potatoes, and to make them look more like they have the potato skin, I'm using used coffee grounds. Like these are used coffee grounds that I've dried and stored just for miniature use. I use it sometimes for soil or like little things. And I'm just taking my little wannabe potatoes and kind of like rolling them in the coffee grains to create more texture and color variation. I don't really know if it worked that well. Like it maybe looks more like dirt, like they were fresh from the ground. But I think it was worth trying. Some of them look like quail eggs or something, but it's fun. We're just practicing, trying different things out here. But yeah, I think it was really fun, fast and efficient way to do that. And now, since they're all ready, I'm just gonna bake them. I'm gonna give the cranberries and peas just a little time and leave the potatoes and maybe the peas, because they are in a lump, a little bit longer. Once they're baked, I can take my peas and pop them back into the bowl and add some loose ones that came off from the little blob. I want to make sure they look nice and actually like they were put in. And again, then I'm gonna like attach them or secure them and add some shine by adding UV resin. And to me, this kind of adds like the little shine that you would have like if you boil peas or if you like add some butter to them, like just a little extra something. With the potatoes, I am trying first like how they sit in this little pot. I'm pretty sure this pot is from Sylvanian families as well. Might be lumpy, but I'm pretty sure it's Sylvanian. So I really needed to try out like how do they sit in it, like, and what do they look like. And at this point I'm like, oh my god, they really look like eggs, and it's not the vibe at all, and they don't seem to sit nicely at all. So I figured let's cut some in half, so maybe I can make them look more like boiled potatoes and arrange them more like aesthetically into the pot, if that makes sense. And I think it helps, but at this point I'm also like heartbroken that I didn't use the right colored clay, because I thought I wouldn't cut them, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this weirdly colored clay. So yeah. And again, I'm gonna add some UV resin so it looks like there's still some water. Maybe that's not really realistic. I don't know if you would do that, like let your potatoes sit in the water. I wouldn't personally do that, but I did that. And then I added some white acrylic paint, just a hint, to make it like add more like that water effect, or you know, so like there's like that potato starch foaming. So yeah, last but not least, for this patch I'm adding the cranberries to this little cup, and again we're gonna be playing around with UV resin. I'm saving again some for like later use and decoration. I think the amount we have right now is gonna be enough. And then I'm gonna shave some chalk pastels. This is a really perfect color for this. It's like a dark red with a hint of colder tone in it. then the UV resin, and then just carefully mix it with this popsicle stick. And once the shade chalk pastel gets like mixed up with the UV resin, you can see like it starts changing color, and then we can put it in our dish. But since this is actually a button, I'm gonna put some clear tape on the bottom just so it doesn't leak from the little holes. I'm not sure if that can happen, but I don't want to take any risks. Like, my table has seen enough already. So yeah, now I'm just pouring it to the dish, trying to make it nice, and I figure it's not maybe the best dish for cranberry sauce, but it's what I had, and I thought it was pretty. So in my Sylvanian world, they use little plates for cranberry sauce instead of bowls or jars, I guess. Next, we have this big tray kind of thing, and for this I actually really want to do a Thanksgiving turkey, and for that I'm gonna be using this pale gray, brown, and some reddish clay, and mix it all together to this like light brown color. And again, I'm not trying to make this look hyper realistic or anything like that. I'm just practicing, trying to get more used to with the clay and trying to have fun. So I'm just kind of like eyeballing. I googled some images of Thanksgiving turkeys because I've never had Thanksgiving turkey. We're having chicken this year. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it look somewhat like a bird on a tray, and kind of like sculpting it into this heart shape before trying to make one of the chicken legs, oh no, turkey legs. And I think it's not that difficult. Like, actually, like, it came out like fairly okay. And in my opinion, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, as long as you can recognize, like, okay, that's a turkey, that should be good enough. Here it's just like adding a little bit of final details. And after that, I figured like I really want to add some orange slices around it. So we need to make some. And I've seen millions and billions of YouTube videos of how to make like these orange canes with polymer clay. So I thought, oh, it can't be that difficult. And like, obviously I didn't watch any YouTube videos now about it. So I just started making, and yeah, I took this like dried orange slice to like try and kind of like see what does an orange slice actually look like, but I don't really think it helped. Like, it was really hard, and I'm just trying to make all the little slices and add some different tones and parts to it, like to build the cane up from the scratch. And yeah, this is one of those parts where I mean, like, this is in no way a tutorial. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I would never do this again like this ever. So go ahead, find someone who actually knows something about polymer clay, and if you want to learn how to do these, do it with their tutorials, because damn, this was like a big fail. It looks pretty okay so far, but I didn't even have a like proper roller pin, so I used my tacky glue bottle, and it worked. Like, it's clay, it's not that serious. But yeah, I'm just trying to stretch my clay in the thin stripe before I can actually start building up the orange shape. And what I remembered seeing was like people wrapping like white around these teardrop shaped like tubes, and then just starting to like apply them together until you manage to make the whole circle. So you'll see here kind of how I'm trying to build that up, just adding little segment at a time to make them look somewhat like a citrus fruit. eventually this is how it turned out. I'm trying to, like, I got so insecure. I tried to peek, like, am I even going to the right direction? And yeah, you can hear the original sound because, like, I have cats and a husband. Like, there's a lot going on in my house. So, but I was laughing so hard, and I realized, like, this needs some help ASAP before I can actually call it an orange. So I kind of started panicking and just kind of rolling with it. And at this point, I was also trying to eyeball that, like, what's the width of the orange slice. Like, I need them to be about right size, obviously. And this is the moment of truth. Okay, it's not super bad, but obviously it's not round in any way. And it looks like a 5-year-old made it. So yeah, I'm trying to roll them and play with them in my hands to make them look a little bit better, but well, I think for my first try it's decent, but obviously I should have watched a tutorial before trying this out. Anyway, eventually I came up with the solution, and I took this sculpting tool and started to shape the orange by poking it a little bit around and creating some texture. And that's when I realized that I can actually, like, shape it more round and more orange looking like this. And I think it worked really well. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. I'll show you a little close up once I get this off the table. Yeah, there you go. It's not perfect, but once I have, like, all of them, I think in a bunch it's not that bad, as you can see. So here I have my oranges, I have my cranberries, some greenery, and some other kind of greenery. But all we need now is to make the turkey look more like turkey. We want to have some baked look on it, so let's paint it a little bit. And I'm just gonna be painting it all over with this brown paint, add some, like, roasty shadows on it, and then glaze it with UV resin. And for the whole setup, I'm gonna be using this dyed moss that I got from the craft store to make it look like, I don't know, like some sort of salad or herbs. I saw that being a thing in the 90s and in the Pinterest, so I'm just, like, mimicking what I've seen. So don't judge, please. So yeah, I'm just gonna glue all the greenery down to add some interest and color to the dish before gluing everything else as well. Assemble is the key here because I want everything to look nice. So yeah, and now I'm also realizing that the turkey is actually quite big. It could have been a little bit smaller, but I think we can still fit the oranges if we just scoot it over a teeny tiny bit. I just want a couple to make it look nice, and then add some pop of color by adding the cranberries. So I'm just taking some super glue and gluing all the little excess pieces on their place before actually later on adding the UV resin. But you'll see it in the end. Next, what I thought we could do was a little charcuterie board. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right because it's such a hard word. Damn you French people inventing all these English words. But yeah, my idea is to make some meats, cheese, and just make a little like this and that kind of platter. So again, this is one of those things which would have been probably useful to watch some sort of tutorial, but I just want to have fun, you know. I just want to, for once, just craft and not overthink. Maybe learn, maybe not. Like, have kind of like that childish little idea of crafting where you don't actually always follow instructions. So I'm just rolling some different kind of colors. I have the shades of brown, white, and pink, as well as some darker red from the cranberries. And I'm just gonna be mixing them all together to create this like base for the meat. And at first I was thinking about making like something that looks kind of like salami. I didn't film, well, I did film it, but I didn't include it because it was a mess. So eventually I just like mixed it all together to make this marbly kind of, I don't know what that is, blob. And just using the little cutting tool, cut out some, what I want to think are like some fancy meats. I don't know what kind of meats, but yeah, magic meat. So yeah, I'm just eyeballing where I want to put them, and then I'm gonna move on to make some super simple cheese. I made cheese plenty of times, like super simple ones using different kind of clays, but not polymer clay. I could have maybe gone and tried something more harder, but again, like, this is just my inner toddler crafting today. So I went ahead and made some simple cheese. Using some pale yellow and then some darker like cheddar's yellow as well. And I'm just using my craft knife here, or actually box cutter to be honest, to cut it in the triangle shape so it would be like a little block of cheese, and then using these ballpoint tools to like push down some like holes to make them look more cheesy. And I kind of wanted something like really cartoonish here, like, because that's simple and it's really easily recognized as cheese. Did the same thing to another piece of block, and then it was just all about assembling. Obviously everything has been baked in an oven before assembling, but yeah. Here I'm just using super glue to add them. Add the meats first, then some greenery. Again, using that dyed moss that I used before. And also add in some of the orange slices since I had so many. Then on the other side, I'm gonna add my cheeses. And then also some cranberries to add more color and interest. I still thought though that it was kind of missing something, and for that I figured we could do like some sort of a cheese knife, but I didn't really have anything good, so I took yet another Sylvanian family's butter knife, painted the handle and just glued it in. And here's how the turkey turned out after UV resin. And then the charcuterie board with knife and everything UV resin down as well. Last but not least, I figured we could and should definitely for Thanksgiving make a pumpkin pie. And for that I found from the ground this bottle cap that I'm gonna be using as our pie dish. And I softened my clay, eyeballed that it's about right size, and then took some plastic wrap before pushing my brown clay that's supposed to be the dough down. And I'm gonna be this time doing it in a way where I first sculpt the dough part and bake it as it is, just so I can make sure that it actually fits later on to the dish, because I wanna paint this bottle cap and I don't know how the paint reacts in the oven, so I'm playing it safe here. So we're first gonna mold the dough part, carefully unwrap it like that, and then bake this, but not fully. I'm baking it just for a few minutes so it kind of like gets more solid. While that's baking though, I'm gonna be painting my bottle cap into looking more like cast iron. So again, I'm using my beloved baking soda and acrylic paint mixture, and just gonna go ahead and paint everything black. Really simple, needed a couple of coats, but ended up looking okay-ish. So now the dough part has baked, and I'm adding a little bit of acrylic paint like dry brushing just a teeny tiny bit to this, which doesn't really make sense now since I said that I was scared how it reacts. For some reason in this moment, like I wasn't even worrying about it. Maybe because I was painting polymer clay and not metal. But anyway, I added some orange polymer clay on top, made it look like it's a smeared little pumpkin like paste or something like that. And then I figured like we need a whipped cream on top, so this is my technique of doing it. I'm twisting my clay and pushing it against the table to create this little weird looking cone. And after everything's baked and cap has like dried out, I can just put it in. And then as you can see, I made 2 whipped creams, pick my favorite, and then also glue that in there. I'm gonna finish off this with UV resin as well to add it a little bit more shine. And after that, we can finally assemble the whole table. So we had our turkey, our peas, and I also made some pumpkins. You can see how I made those in a previous video. Really simple way to make some pumpkins for your Halloween decorations, etc. Here we have the board and our little pumpkin pie, which maybe looks a little bit funky, but well, it is what it is. Then we can add our squirrel family to enjoy our little Thanksgiving feast, as well as some little other things that I've made and collected over the years. And a chicken. I feel like the chicken fitted this so well. But I really like how this turned out. I think everything looks fairly well. It was my first time. And, you know, everyone starts somewhere. I hope you really like this, even though it might have been a little chaotic. And I hope to see you again on the next video. Bye-bye!